Once again, you're welcome for tonight, 807, which is contemporary world, contemporary issues in world politics. Um, in our last session, we talked about the module one, where I tried to explain what contemporary issues in world politics means. We talked about some concepts like power, sovereignty, state, diplomacy, and how states interact together. Tonight, we'll proceed with module two. And in module two, we'll talk about the state actors, the non-state actors, how they interact, how they influence each other. And we talked about the World War One, World War Two, and then the Cold War. So without wasting our time, let's just take it one after the other. The first concept we will look at today is a state actor. What is a state actor? Because we have state actor and we have non-state actor. So what is a state actor? In a single word, I'll just say a state actor is a country. In a single word, I'll just say it's a country. But that will not define what is really a state actor. So a state actor is a country that meets all the requirements of statehood. A state actor is a country that meets all the requirements of statehood under international law and participate actively in global politics. I repeat myself, a state actor is a country that meets all the requirements in statehood under international law and participate in global politics. Which means that for you to be regarded as a state actor in contemporary world politics, you have to have all the requirements to be a state. Understand? That one, we did it in mode one. The requirement to be a state, you have sovereignty, you have power, you have boundary, you have population, and the likes. So you have to have all the requirement to be a state first under the international law. And you must be actively involved in global politics. This shows that a state actor cannot work on its own. You have to be actively involved in global politics. You understand? So another definition of state actor is a state actor is a sovereign country. A state actor is a sovereign country recognized by international law. A sovereign country that is recognized by international law. Understand? With defined territory. With defined territory, population, government, and the capacity to make diplomatic relation with other countries. Let me repeat that one again. I said a state actor is a sovereign country. A state actor is a sovereign country recognized by international law. Is a sovereign country recognized by international law with defined territory, population, government, and the capacity to make diplomatic relation with other countries. So when you look at the definition of state actor, you see the word recognized by international law, and you must have the characteristics that makes you a state, and you must involve in global politics or diplomatic relation with another country. So that means in the definition of a state actor, we have three things that is important. Recognized by international law, you must involve in diplomatic relation with other countries, with global politics, and you must have all the characteristics of a state. So this is the definition of a state actor. And when we talk about state actor, we talk about Nigeria, Cameroon, United Kingdom, and other countries you understand? So in a simple word, if it's a word, you just want to say in a word, state actor is a country. But in the field we have, which is we are trying to study about contemporary world politics, that means it has to be recognized by international law, it must have a defined territory, and it must participate in global politics or involved in diplomatic relation with another country. This is the definition of state actor. So the characteristics of a state actor, when you look at the characteristics of a state actor, you take the characteristics of a state actor from the definition of a state actor. Listen, the characteristics of a state actor, the number one is define territory. You must have the country, the state, before it becomes a state actor in international politics, it must have a defined territory. So under which territory is it working? That is, you must have your own border. The border you have, the geographical boundaries must be the number one characteristics. Without a geographical boundary, you cannot be a state actor in international politics. That's number one. The number two is permanent population. You must have permanent population. That is, even if you have a defined territory, you must have people living in your territory. You understand? So if you have your territory, you must have people living there. Because if you have people living there, there is going to be the government. There is going to be a government, which is a third characteristic of a state actor, the government that will rule over people living there. That's the third characteristic of a state actor. So, number one, you have your territory. Number two, you have the population. Number three, you have the government that rule over people over there. And number four, sovereignty. Sovereignty in our first module, we explained that is the power you have to control people in your country without the influence of an external force. So that's the first characteristic. That's the first characteristic of a state actor: sovereignty. Why the fifth? How do you call it? The fifth characteristic is the capacity to engage with other country diplomatically. That's the fifth characteristic of a state actor, which means after you have your territory, you have the population, you have the government, you have how do you call the sovereignty. You must be having the capacity to have a diplomatic affairs with people. You understand? So these five characteristics of a state character, if one is missing, that means we need to look for it before we can qualify a state as a state actor. Am I communicating? Now, let me just give you an example now. You see, Nigeria. Nigeria is a state actor. Let's just take Nigeria as a state actor. You see, Nigeria leads ECOWAS for mediation and diplomatic talks when there's problem in ECOWAS region. This means, sorry. So will Nigeria lead mediation for negotiation when there is a problem in the ECOWAS territory? So Nigeria as a state actor, we play the role of negotiating with people. Look at Jonathan. Jonathan was sent to Guinea-Bissau. Understand? Jonathan was sent to Guinea-Bissau under ECOWAS. Understand? Same thing applicable when there was in Niger Republic, when there was coup d'etat there. It was sent there. So that means as a country, you must be diplomatically involving in negotiating in diplomatic talks with other countries before you can be recognized as a state actor. Now, on the other hand, we have non-state actor. That's the opposite of state actors. But non-state actors, who are non-state actors? Who are non-state actors? Now, non-state actor, on the other hand, they are political, social, economical, or military players. They are social, non-state actors, they are social, political, economic, or military players that operate across or within borders. Understand? I'm sorry. I'm just give me 1 minute, please. Please. Uh, I'm sorry for the. So, back to the definition of non-state actors. As I was saying, non-state actors are political, economic, social, or political player or military player that operate across or within borders, but are not sovereign states. I repeat it, non-state actors are political, economical, social, or military players that operate across or within borders, but they are not sovereign. Listen, they influence international policies or international affairs. With let me just mute this person. They influence international policies in international politics or affairs, but they do not possess legal attributes of a state, which means that a non-state actors, it can be a political organization, it can be a social organization, it can be an economic organization or military players. They can influence international laws, they can influence international policies, but they do not possess the characteristics of a state, which is the first five things we mentioned: sovereignty, territory, population, and so a non-state actor doesn't have that one, but they have the power to influence international politics. Understand? So now let's ask ourselves: they are not countries, you understand? But they influence decision making. Now, why are non-state actors matters? Why are they important? Important of non-state actors. Why are they important? Understand? So why are non-state actors important? The number one reason why they are important is that they shape outcomes often than the state actors. They shape outcomes of decision often than the state actors. Let me just give you an example. Now we have in terms of conflict, the non-state actors can intervene. You understand? Let's take in the Delta Niger area of Nigeria, for instance. In the Delta Niger area of Nigeria, Chevron and Shell mostly intervene in some decision when there is how do you call, when they finish extracting the oil and the likes. Who cater for how do you call who cater for cleaning the areas? It's not the government, but it's the non-state actors that do that one. So that is economic part of the non-state actor, like their economic organization. So, there was issue between the Niger Delta and the federal government of Nigeria. So the non-state actors involved, they have to also be in the mediation part. Listen, so federal government alone cannot solve the problem between the Niger Delta and the oil companies there. So they have to involve the non-state actors also to be there. You have to be on ground for us to talk. Because sometimes the decision the state actors can take might not favor the non-state actors. So they have to be there in mediation also. So that's number one. Number two is that they fill government gaps. The non-state actors fill government gaps where state actors are weak. The non-state actors fill government gaps where state actors are weak. I'll just take myself as an example now. I take myself as an example here. I repeat this importance of non-state actors. They fill government gap when state actors are weak. See, some non-state actors, they act as NGOs. Understand? They give humanitarian aid. Around 2016, 17, in my own local government, there was some public schools that they were not having government teachers. So I have to volunteer myself to be teaching them government. Again, I have to volunteer myself to be teaching them government for free without the government paying me salary, because most of them have been complaining that they don't have government teachers. And aside from that one, there was a time in my own personal in my own local government, the The rep representing the state is from my own local government. He was not performing well. He was not performing. Since I have my own NGO, I have to organize a program to show that even if we don't hold any political post, we can still make impact in our state. I distributed 100 JAM form for secondary school students to go and do JAM. So it's just, I use that one to pass a message to the person in the state House of Assembly that, you see, even me that I'm not into power, I can make impact. So you are in power, you are getting commission, you are getting money. So use that money they are giving you to make power in the state. So what the government cannot do, the NGOs will do that one. The NGOs are also part of the non-state actors. Okay? So the third important reason why the non-state actors matter is that they challenge the state authority. They challenge the state authority. Here we have the terrorists, the Boko Haram. Understand? We have the cartel. Recently, last month in Brazil, we all heard what is happening in Brazil last month, whereby the FBI with Brazilian soldiers, they killed more than 100 people from the cartel. Understand? The drug barons, they killed them. In Nigeria, it is happening. Boko Haram is influencing government decisions every day. You understand? So we have private military, military companies also. In Russia, we have them, the Wagners in Russia. So all these things, terrorist, cartel, and the private military organization I mentioned, so they influence government decision. Yesterday, Tinubu, this week, Tinubu nominated the Minister of Defense. It's because of the security concern in Nigeria, which means what is happening in some part, insecurity happening in some part of Nigeria, makes him to be forcefully announced someone as the defense minister. If not because that there is an insecurity, he will not even think about it. So the non-state actor also influence the change government decision. Again, the number 4 is they create global network. The non-state actors create global network that transcend borders, that go beyond borders. Listen, they create global network that go beyond borders. Listen, we have the Al-Qaeda, the Al-Shabaab, the terrorist group. Some terrorist group in the Middle East are in Africa. They have like chapter, or how do you say? They have like organization again in Africa. So aside from being the terrorist group, all these big organizations, all these big NGOs, they are in Europe and they are also in Africa. So just to also make impact. And the 5th one, why the non-state actors are important, is that they complicate traditional notion of sovereignty. They complicate traditional notion of sovereignty. Sovereignty, we believe that sovereignty is the act of a government to make decision in the country, control its people without an external influence. But the non-state actors indirectly influence the state actor. Understand? So you will see that in time of crisis, you will see some NGO, they bring food, they bring medical aid to people. Understand? So just in a way, just to make impact in the life of people. Normally, it should be the work of the government, but the non-state actor also makes such impact. They influence the decision of people. Understand? Now, I hope I'm not too fast. If I'm not too fast, then we proceed. The functions of the role of non-state actors. The functions of the role of non-state actors. Number 1 is economic functions. They play a lot of economic role. Understand? They play a lot of economic role. They invest in countries. They invest in country and create job opportunities. We have the likes of MTN. We have the likes of Shell, Total, Chevron, and the likes. They create jobs. They invest in Nigeria. Some of them do roads in Nigeria. You get, so they make impact, economic importance. That's number 1. Number 2, service providers. They play the role of service providers. Understand? In some IDP camp in the north, we have some non-state actors there, the NGOs that take care of displaced people in Nigeria. So when you go there, you see them taking care of them, giving them aid, food, and the likes. You get. So aside from that one, educational part also, they provide education to people. So you can see some NGO like this, they will just buy books, a lot of bag and shoes, distribute to students because they provide a service that the government is not providing. Understand? The third roles of a non-state actor is political influencer. They also serve as political influencers. Understand? The lobby. I will just take how do you call them? During the NSAD mobilization, during NSAS issue in Nigeria, there was they created an organization for NSAD to be mobilized on Twitter and some social media. So you will see that they were faster in mobilizing a lot of people to go to Lagos. And aside from mobilizing, they were also cooking food for them. There were a department cooking food, there were department mobilizing people, there were department trying to be the medical part. So they also play as political influence. Aside from that one, let's look at Very Dark Man. He's a non-state actor on his own. He's an individual non-state actor on his own. Because some of the decisions he make, when Benue State, what happened in Benue State around September, he went there with his team. So they also influence political decision in their own. Understand? They are political influencers on their own. And another one is security actors. Another role of non-state actors, security actors. Understand? So security actors. And non-state actors also play the role of security actors during insurgents. Understand? So in Russia, we have the Wagners. The Wagners are private military organization, military company. They are in Africa. They are in Mali at the moment. Understand? So if you have alliance with, if you just check on Google, Wagner, Wagner, the Wagners, they are soldiers, but they know they work for anybody like that. They are on their own. They are private military organization, but they focus on helping the Russian government in executing some things. So the Russian government can also employ them to go to Africa or any part of the world. You get. So they play security. They also play security functions. And the last one is criminal entrepreneur. Another role of non-state actor is criminal entrepreneur. You see, we have traffic organization among them. Where they traffic people. They send people from Nigeria. They will tell them that we want to send you to Europe. They let them pass through Niger, from Niger to Libya, and then they become slave in Libya. Aside from that one, they have money launderers. Some of them, they are money launderers. So some of them, they are cartels. They sell drugs among countries, between countries and countries. Again, so these are the roles of or functions of non-state actors. Understand? But as you are talking about non-state actors, it seems that they have power. But at the same time, if they have power, they must have a limitation. Again, so what are the power and the limitation of his non-state actors? Understand? As they have power, they also have limitation. Again, but let me start with the source of power of non-state actors. The source of power of non-state actors, or the power of non-state actors. And so the source of power of non-state actors or the power of non-state actors. Number one, where they get the power from is number one is money and market control. The non-state actors have money and they control the market. That's number one, where they get the power. Let's take an example now. Shell or Total or Chevron. Do you know that they control most part of oil in Africa, not only in Nigeria? I don't know whether we have Total in Nigeria. I'm not too conversant with Nigeria, but in Ivory Coast we have Total. In Nigeria, I know we have Shell. We have Chevron. And these people, we have MTN. In most part of West Africa, we have MTN. We have ShopRite. These people, they have money and they control the market. So the money and the market they have is what interests the state actors because a state government, a president, for instance, will want investors to come, and these investors are indirectly the non-state actors. They have the money, they have the power. So the money, the market make influence change. Money can change person decision. Okay, someone say we have total energy in Nigeria. So these people, they can influence the decision of the government because of the money and the market control they have. You get, that's number one source of power of a non-state actor. The number two source of non-state power of non-state actor is information and moral authority. Information and moral authority. They have the right information. Understand? You see, they control, some of them control the media. Some of them control the media and the NGOs. You understand? If you see in some part of the north, especially in IDP camps, internally displaced people place a camp. When you go there, you will see white people there helping people because they have information that there is insecurity in some part. Because of the insecurity, people have been displaced to go to some part. So it is their own responsibility now as a non-state actor to make an impact in the life of people, helping people. You understand? So that's information and moral authority to help people. Understand? The number three source of power of a non-state actor is coercive power. Coercive power. Understand? So let's take the case of Boko Haram, the case of Al Qaeda or Al Shabaab, or you understand? So some of these organizations, terror organizations, they get their power from war. Let's have war. Understand? So their own is war. Aside from them, some are legal. Let me just take the case of Wagner that I mentioned. Wagner is in Russia, is a private military. I've mentioned it. So they are legal in Russia, but we don't have that in Nigeria. So this organization, they make influence through terror. Listen, those people kidnapping people in Kebbi and some part of Nigeria, they create terror in the heart of people. Because of that gives them power. So far they see people are afraid of them, it gives them power. So coercive force, the power to make people afraid of you through either through your gun or through the influence of arms. Understand? So the number four source of power of non-state actor is technical expertise. Understand? Technical expertise. So some of them get the power from the knowledge they have and the network they have. You understand? So you will see some international organization in Nigeria, but they are not originally from Nigeria. Understand? So the tech companies, you see some tech companies in Nigeria. So all these tech companies you see that are not primarily from Nigeria, they are organizations that also they are also categorized under the non-state actors. So I want to move this person. Just bear with me. So any question for me before I proceed to the limitation of a non-state actors? Any question before I proceed? I don't know. Okay. Any question before I proceed? Or can I proceed? Can I proceed?
Yeah, sorry, please. Okay,
No,
please. The list you are making, that's the source of power of non-state actors. You're number one. I didn't really get it.
I said money and market control. They have the money and they control the market. And I give the example of the multinational corporation like the MTN, the Shell, the ShopRite, and the likes. Because the government wants them to invest in our country. So far, the government wants them to come and invest. They have the money. They will make the government to change the law. Even some of them, they don't pay tax the way we, all common Nigerians, will pay the tax. You understand? So because the government wants them to come. So far, you come, you give job to our people, you invest in our country, we are happy. Understand? So that's a source. That money is a source of power also. Okay. Another question before I proceed. Okay, let me proceed now. Now, the limitation of non-state actors. The number one limitation of non-state actor is they have no formal legitimacy to make law. They have no formal legitimacy to make law, which means that they have no power to make law. They rely on state actors. Some of them, because terrorist group doesn't rely on state actors. So they have no legitimate right or legitimate power to make law. That's number one. Understand? So except when delegated, let me just put it like that, except when delegated. Delegating power means that we let's say Ademola Omoyeni is the president. If he want to delegate power to me, that means that part of his function, I will do it. So the government of a state, of a country, can delegate power to non-state actors. So except is delegated power, but aside from that one, they have no legitimacy to make law. That's number one limitation. Number two, dependence on state for legal cover. Dependence on state for legal cover, protection, and contract. That means that they depend on state actors for legal cover. A non-state actor will not come to an NGO, an international NGO or international organization or international multinational corporation will not just come to Nigeria just like that without doing some paperwork. So they depend on the state actors to get legal cover, protection, and contracts. You get? So that's it. Number three is vulnerable. They are vulnerable to regulation, sanction, and public opinion. They are vulnerable to public opinion, sanction, and regulation. Let's take an example now. Today, if Nigeria want to boycott Shell or Total or any organization, if we are unanimously okay with it, we can boycott it. Which means that the public opinion can influence the state, non-state actor in a country. Am I communicating?
Sorry, I didn't get that, though.
So
Could you say that again?
They are vulnerable to regulation, sanction, and public opinion. So far as they rely on the state actor for legal cover, the state actor can give them sanction if they fail to do some things. They can be sanctioned. Understand? So some law may not be in their favor also. Even the public can have, there can be public opinion on them. What do the public thinks about them? So if you see the fight in the Niger Delta area, it's because the public were not satisfied with what is happening in the state. So these people living, let's say in the Niger Delta area, Port Harcourt, Warri, and the likes, they were not happy with the extraction of oil. If you extract, they believe that if this non-state actor extract oil, they should repair what they mess up. Listen, because some of them in the Niger Delta area, they don't have potable water. So the people, the public in that area believe that if those people finish extracting oil, they should find a way on how people in the Niger Delta area will have potable water. Understand? Some of them, they use a bowl, but the bowl, the water is mixed with oil. The water is polluted. You get? So the public opinion decision also influence the decision of non-state actor, influence how they operate. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Now, how do the state actors and the non-state actor interact together? How do they communicate together? Understand? We already said that the state actor are our government. Understand? The non-state actors are all these organizations that also exist in the country, but they are not government. Now, how do they interact together? Understand? Number one way they interact together is partnership. You will see a state government partnering with an NGO or an international organization. Partnership. There was a time in, I think last year or early this year, Jonathan said he's not collaborating with Nigeria on the USA. Understand? So because the USA also brings some aid in Nigeria, so it's they're now collaborating. So the state actors and the NGO, they collaborate through partnership. Understand? That's number one. So in the Niger Delta area, let's say in part of the Niger Delta area, the partnership is that those Chevron, they will be doing the road. They will be doing the road. That means that any road you see in that area, the major road you see in that area is done by the non-state actor, not the government, although the government will take the credit at the end. So instead of the government to use its own money to do the road, the non-state actor will do the road and the government gets the credit. So the partnership, that's the number one way they interact. The number two way they interact is confrontation. Confrontation. Look at the federal government of Nigeria and what is some part of the Boko Haram, and Boko Haram, the insurgents. They confront, we fight each other, war for war. So the confrontation comes when the state actors and the non-state actor face each other, confront each other. The criminal groups, the insurgents, sometimes violent representation. So all these violent organizations also, they are non-state actors. So they also have effect in our state, state actor decision. So that's confrontation. Today, the new minister, the new defense minister, he said that he wants to take out all the soldiers in our checkpoint. He wants to send all of them to the forest. Let's go to the forest. Let's go and confront them if you want peace. So that is confrontation. That's the second way they interact. The third way they interact is competition. They compete together. Understand? They compete together. See, the state actors and the non-state actors, they say, so I say they have the market power. The state actors have the market power. The non-state actor make the policy. They make the policy. So if the state actors make a decision that doesn't suit the non-state actors, they have to compete together. Understand? So NGO make the government to change some decision. So at the end of the day, the government will send delegates. They also will send delegates. They will sit down, they will talk, and they will finish the issue, and they will try to understand themselves. Understand? The fifth one, they communicate together, is cooptation. Cooptation is taken from the word coup d'etat. So cooptation. You see, state actors can use a non-state actors to do a job that you don't want people to know that he's the one that did it. Let me repeat it. A state actors can use NGO. Let me just put it like that. A state actors can use NGO to achieve a policy. Why avoiding direct responsibility? In Russia, the Russian government use the private military companies. They are very popular. If you are conversant with what is happening in Russia, you know that the private military companies in Russia, they are very popular. They are called the Wagners. So the Russian government use them to do dirty job. I don't know what they use them to do dirty jobs. Dirty job is go and buy this person. The Russian government doesn't take responsibility of this. In some part of Africa, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, these private military, companies are there. They are sent from Russia. Because we know that the people inside, the country in Sahel, they are not cooperating with France again. They don't want France to be in the territory. So they need protection. For them to get protection, what is the president of Burkina Faso again, Seth? What is the name of the president of Burkina Faso? I don't forget to.
Ibrahim Traore.
Ibrahim, thank you very much.
Ibrahim Traore now.
Thank you very much. Ibrahim Traore goes to Russia most. Listen, Ibrahim Traore goes to Russia most times. So the soldiers Russian government will give them is not the Russian private, it's not the Russian military force they will give them. They give them the Wagners. You can check online. The Wagners are the private military soldiers in Russia. So that's what they give them to protect them in case the France want to retaliate and take over the territory from them. You understand? So I want to ask a question now. I just need your opinion. I want to ask a question. I need your opinion. So the Niger Delta and the oil multinational corporation in some part of Nigeria. So who pay for environment cleanup? Who pays for environment cleanup in some part of in Niger Delta? Is it the state government or the multinational corporation or the local communities? I don't know whether you understand my question.
Yes.
I just want your opinion. In the Niger Delta area, understand, and the oil multinational corporation, Shell, Chevron, Total, all of them that are in the Niger Delta area. So after they are done with extracting oil, who pays for environment cleanup? Is it the state government or the federal government or the multinational corporation or the local community? Who do the cleanup?
It's joint. Federal and the multinational.
Federal and the multinational. That's your own opinion, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think that is what is going on in Nigeria.
Any contrary opinion?
I think it's mostly done by the multinationals. Then the federal do come in sometimes, but most times I think it's just them. Then maybe like in Port Harcourt sometimes during Wike, I think he claimed the states too. They partner with the multinational to do it. So
Thank you very much.
sometimes it's political.
Thank you very much. In Nigeria is a multinational corporation. Do you know the reason why the multinational corporation have to do it? It is believed that if the state government or the federal government want to do it, they will use Nigerian money to do it. So instead of using Nigerian money to do it, let us instruct the multinational corporation to do it. You understand? So if they instruct the multinational corporation to do the cleanup, that means that the federal government or the state government will save their own money. So which means that the non-state actors and the state actor communicate together in this aspect. They interact together. That's true partnership. Am I communicating?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now we'll proceed to international organizations. We all know them. We have the United Nations, we have the ECOWAS and the likes. So, but what is international organization, or what are international organizations? Understand? So, international organizations are institutions, understand, created by state actors. They are institutions created by states through treaties or agreements. They are created by states. When we say states here, we mean countries. So they are institutions created by states through treaties or agreements to promote cooperation, manage shared problems, and regulate state behavior in global affairs. Let me repeat it again. So international organization, they are institutions that are created by states. They are created through two things: treaties and agreement. They are created through treaties and agreement. And the major aim is to promote cooperation among countries. Promote cooperation, manage shared problems. Which means when there is problem in a territory, the international organization will manage it. Understand? Like Nigeria and ECOWAS case now. When there is problem in the West Africa, the ECOWAS comes in to manage, to find a solution. Understand? Because they believe that in Niger Republic, there is war. In Burkina, there is war. In Mali, there is war. That means if this war is not curbed, it can affect other ECOWAS countries. So the international organization will manage a shared problems. You understand? And also regulate the state behavior in global system or in global affairs. Understand? So international organization, they help the state with issues that no state can handle. So let's say Nigeria wants to handle the problem going on in Guinea-Bissau. We know there is coup d'etat in Guinea-Bissau. And let's say Nigeria wants to handle it. Nigeria alone cannot handle it. So they have to pass through international organization, which is the ECOWAS. Understand? They have to pass through ECOWAS, and ECOWAS will send in mediating people that will go and mediate or negotiate with people over there. You understand? So they help the government or the state with issue no state can handle. Understand? No state can handle alone, such as security, pandemic, trade issue, migration, and climate change. You understand? So during pandemic, so there was World Health Organization. So the World Health Organization was in most of our airports. If you travel during 2020, if you travel during, you know that there was World Health Organization teams in most of our airports, even the borders. You see them there. So to check people to be sure that they are not having the corona pandemic. Understand? So now, why are international organization matters? Why is international organization matters? The importance of international organization. Can anyone tell me any reason why they matter? Why do we have international organization? Can anyone tell me, please? Why is international organization matter? Can anyone tell me why? Anyone should volunteer. Just say anything you know from your experience.
Well,
why?
Please, Robert, your question, please.
Why are international organization matters? Why are they important? That was the question. Why are they important? Anyone to answer this one for me? Why are
Okay. Hello. Sorry, can I say something?
Yeah, you can say something.
Okay. I believe they are important because, just like you said, as in they help to checkmate the government. Let's say, and like their functions, like they help to force the government, that is the state, to shape its policies. You understand? Maybe that will help the citizens to have something. You understand? So let me say it doesn't allow the government to monopolize everything. Let me just say something like, I don't know.
Thank you very much. Any other?
Yeah. Secondly, they help in resolving disputes.
Thank you very much. Can you give us any example of international organization that help in resolving disputes?
There are lots.
UN.
Yeah. What?
United Nations.
United Nations. UN.
Thank you very much. Anyone to give us another important reason of international organization?
They also help in addressing global issues such as climate change.
Thank you very much. They help in addressing global issues such as climate change. Thank you very much. All the reasons you mentioned are valid. So there are many reasons why they are important in our studies. But I will just mention 5 of them. Okay? Number 1 reason I'll mention is promote peace and security. They help to promote peace and security. Understand? So that is why we have the case of United Nations, we have African Union, we have NATO. So this organization, they help to promote peace and security. You get? So that's the number 1 reason. That was one of the reasons. Number 2, they help to facilitate economic cooperation. They help to facilitate economic cooperation. They help to facilitate economic cooperation. That is the reason why we have the World Trade Organization, which is the WTO. We have the European Union, the EU. We have the ECOWAS also. This organization help to facilitate economic cooperation among member states. Understand? The third one is support development and poverty reduction. They support development and poverty reduction. They support development and poverty reduction. So that's why we have IMF. Thank you. Someone mentioned it. We have the IMF. We have the World Bank. Understand? So they help reduce poverty and help in development. Some countries don't have money, but IMF, we give them the loan to do what they want to do in the country. You get? So they help development and poverty reduction. The fourth one here is they help in humanitarian emergencies. They help in humanitarian or emergencies. Which of the organization help in humanitarian emergency? Can anyone tell me any international organization that help them? humanitarian emergency.
WHO.
WHO, thank you very much. World Health Organization. So when there is crisis, you will see them. They are more in some part of in our IDPs in some part of the north. So they help people with UNICEF also. You understand? So they help. So this organization help in humanitarian emergencies. And we have the fifth one
UNICEF,
here is
right?
thank you. Yeah, the UNICEF also is there. The fifth one we have is they provide platform for negotiation and dispute resolution. They provide platform for negotiation and dispute resolution. You see the case. We see the case of how do you call the United Nations when they take the case of Israel and Palestine to the United Nations Congress this year. I said so they table the problem and they try to find a solution to the problems. So we have many reasons why they are important. We have many reasons why they are important, but these are the five that are major, and other comes under it also. You get now the types of
the fifth one.
Sorry, can we get the fifth one again?
The fifth one. Can anyone say it for her?
They provide platform for negotiation and dispute resolution.
Thank you very much. They provide platform for negotiation and dispute resolution. Understand? Now, do you have it now? Can I proceed?
Proceed.
Thank you very much. Now, the types of international organization. So the types international organization are divided into two. For you to understand them, they are divided into two. So if you want to know the types, they are divided into two. We have the global organization and we have the regional organization. The global organization and the regional organization. Now, under the global organization, we have the United Nations, the UN. You get? So the types is just like you already know the international organization, but I just want you to know that they are categorized into two: the global one and the regional one. So under the global one, we have the UN, we have the World Trade Organization, we have the IMF, we have the World Bank. That's under the global one because they look into affairs that are affected by the planet Earth, the global affairs of the world. You get? So, but under the regional one only focus on certain region, not the whole world. An example, the African Union. Understand? African Union promotes unity, development, peace, and democracy in Africa, not in Europe. Someone mentioned EU, European Union. Understand? ECOWAS. So the European Union on their own part, they also maintain peace, development, economic in the European Union only. They don't go beyond the European Union. Understand? We have the ECOWAS. Can anyone tell me the full meaning of ECOWAS?
Economic Community of West African States.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
West African States.
West African States. They promote economic integration, democracy, and regional security in West Africa only. That is a boundary. They don't go beyond the West Africa. Understand? So, and we have Association of Southeast Asian Nation. Association of Southeast Asian Nation. So this is for Asian, those people in Malaysia and other Asian countries. Understand? And we have NATO. That's North Atlantic Treaty Organization for NATO area also. So you already know the international organization, but you just have to know that they are categorized into two: the global one and the regional one. The regional one face what is in its region, while the global one face the international community. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Can I proceed, please?
Proceed.
Thank you very much. Now we'll proceed.
Sorry, please. Can you come again?
Okay. So the last one I explained is the types of international organization or the categories of international organization. And I said they are divided into two. We have the global one, we have the regional one. The global organization, this one, they cater for the global affairs of the world, anything happening in the world. That's why we have the United Nations, the IMF, International Monetary Fund, we have the World Trade Organization, we have the World Bank. So they cater for affairs that affecting the whole world. On the regional part, the regional organization, they cater for affairs that only affect their own regions. That is why we have ECOWAS. ECOWAS only take care of economic integration, democracy, security, regional security in ECOWAS. We have the African Union. African Union is only based in Africa. They will not interfere in any affair in European Union. They only face Africa. We have EU, European Union. They only take affairs of the 27 country. European Union is 27 country only. 27 country in Europe. They don't go beyond the 27 country. They only face 27th country. We have NATO also again. So that was what I explained. I don't know whether you get me. I hope I was not too fast.
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
Excuse me. So where do you fix the BRICS? Are they also global organization? The BRICS nation, like where would you fix them now?
Global because they tend to get members in Africa. Understand? They tend to get members in Africa and some other part of Europe, Asia, North America. So BRICS on their own part, we can put them under the global part because they also want to have the influence. But I don't think they have the influence at the moment. I don't think they have. I don't know if the BRICS have the influence, but from my own perspective, if anybody have a different opinion, the BRICS can be placed on the on the global part because there are many countries there, and some of the countries are in African continent, some of them are in Asia continent, some of them are in North America. So that's why we can place them under the global one.
Yeah, Mr. Akanji, you know, this BRICS the BRICS is just abbreviation of the countries that make up the BRICS. But more countries are willing to join now. Some are in the last stage of joining, some are in the first stage of joining. Does that mean they will go to change the name?
You see, they want to make impact. And when you want to make impact, you try to find allies. You understand? So if you want to impact international affairs, you're trying to find people that will join you. So to me, I believe they are trying to convince more countries to join. So if more countries join, eventually they will turn to international organization. They will turn to a global, global organization. Understand? So if a lot of countries at the moment, they don't want the United States of America to be the superpower. You get?
Because presently Donald Trump is threatening those BRICS nations.
That is what I'm saying.
When this man was there, what was his name? The ex-American president,
Obama.
Biden.
Okay.
Yes, BRICS they were waxing stronger and stronger. But since Obama came in, he's hitting everybody with sanctions. That's why most countries, I think they are scared of joining BRICS.
That is what I'm saying. I said, you see, a lot of people don't want the America to be the superpower. They want power to change. Listen, so since 1945, America has been the superpower. Listen, so they want the power to rotate. They want the power to change. So if, let's say, a lot of countries join the BRICS, for instance, now, power may shift. Listen, power may shift. But before power will shift, they will also be affected. Because if there is sanction here and there, if countries are getting sanctioned here and there, they'll also be affected. So if country joins, if other countries from other continents join, it can affect them to be under the global organization. Understand? So we proceed. Yeah. We proceed to the next part is the national interest. The national interest. That's the next part. So all countries have their own interests, international affairs. So you, for instance, now they are appointing ambassadors. If any one of you have been appointed as part of the list, so you will be carrying the national interest of that country anywhere you go. The interest of Nigeria in another country. You get now. What is national interest? We know national, we know interest. This is two coin words. So what is national interest? So national interest refers to the goals, the priorities, and strategic needs a state. So the goals the priority and strategic needs a state seek to achieve in its interaction with other nations. The goals, the priority, and strategic needs a state seek to achieve in interaction with other states. So, what do Nigeria want to achieve in ECOWAS? Understand? What do Nigeria want to achieve in ECOWAS? That's the question. That thing they want to achieve is the national interest of Nigeria. Because you will not join an organization without having an interest. So that thing you want to achieve, that interest is a national interest. If there is a bilateral interaction between countries, the themes of that interaction, what pushed me to go and meet another country to interact with them is my national interest as a country. So if Nigeria today is interacting with China, as our national interest is the goal we want to achieve at the end of all this interaction. So the goals of the priority, all the strategic needs a state want to achieve or want to get while interacting with another country or another state, that's the national interest. And all countries have national interest because you cannot just go and meet another country and talk with them without having your plan, your goals, your priorities. You understand? Now, the national interests are categorized into 5. The national interests, they are categorized into 5. And all nations have these 5 things. And when it comes to the national interest, the number 1 is security, which is the most important thing. Understand? Security. See, that's the national. When you see a new government coming into power, they put in the manifesto, in their agenda, protect the life of people living in the country and protect them to not be attacked by external force. Understand? Security. So, the security we are talking here is both internal and the external security. Understand? External threat. Now, Donald Trump is threatening Nigeria to send his troops. So, the national interest is protecting Nigeria for external people to invade. All the Boko Haram, all the terrorist group coming from all our porous borders, because Nigeria has a lot of porous border. So, all these porous border, protecting the country, that's the national interest. Number 1. Number 2, territorial integrity. Territorial integrity. Territorial integrity. So, you see, when a country failed in that number 1, it lost the number 2. It lost territorial integrity. When the country failed in security, the country will lose the territorial integrity. That is why you will see that states protect geographical boundaries of the land and maritime. They protect the marine also. They protect the marine borders, not only in the land borders, in order for them to have territorial integrity. If you protect the land border only, you just protect the land border, normal land border, without protecting the water, the marine, people can come to the marine border to come attack you in your country. The number 3 category of national interest is economic development. Country want to develop the economy. They want the economy to grow. That is why you will see countries seeking trade opportunities. They will be calling multinational corporations to come. You understand? They will be calling on the FDI. What is FDI? Can anyone tell me FDI? We mentioned that one in one of our class. What is FDI?
What?
FDI.
Foreign direct investment.
What?
Foreign direct investment.
Foreign direct
investment. So you see countries calling on the FDI to come. You see calling on multinational corporation. You will see them, or trade opportunities. They'll be seeking trade opportunity. Recently, Nigeria and some African countries, they went to China. So for a trade. So just to seek opportunities that come to our country. Our country is secure. Come and invest. So economic development. That's one of the third national interest. The 4th one is national prestige. national prestige. National prestige. Country want respect and recognition in international affairs. You understand? So they do all they can so that they get respect in international affairs. Look at what happened in South Africa, where the president said that in the next I don't know how he put it, but I just want to summarize. He said since Donald Trump did not come, they will not come in the next meeting they have. Listen, so like you respect me, I respect you. So that's emotion. The country want people to respect them. They want another country to respect them. In Somalia, Donald Trump says Somalia is a trash country. He said it is not a country. That he doesn't even know that there's a country called Somalia. And so in response, the Somalian, what did they do? They were just burning the USA flag everywhere. Like you don't respect us, we don't respect you. Listen. So some country want prestige. They want status to be known as a country in international affairs. You get? So the fifth one is the ideology and values. Understand? So ideology and value. You see, some countries they promote democracy. Some countries, on the other hand, they promote religious doctrine. Understand? They promote a certain kind of religion. Some countries they promote democracy. Some they promote communism. You understand? Let's say there is a country. I've mentioned this country. You know, as we are in 2025, some countries they only go for monarchical system of government. They don't go for democracy. They don't go for let's go and vote. They go for king. That's what they promote. So their ideology. So in Nigeria, for instance, our ideology is promoting of democracy. That's why you see election every 4 months. So that's our. So some promote human rights. You get. So these are 5 categories of national interest. And under them, you can just get some other, types of national interest or what national interest mean. Now, the question is, why national interest matter? Why is national interest matters? Listen, importance of national interest. Why is national interest matters? I see, why do a country have to have their own priority, their own goals, set goals, objectives? Why do they have to have it? Why do national interests matter? So, number one, national interest determines which state a country becomes friend with or enemy with. That's number one. Your national interest will determine which country or which state you must become friend with and which state you must run away from. Which one will be your enemy and which one will be your friend. Your national interest will determine that one. If you don't share the same values, you cannot be friends. You only be friends with people or countries you share the same value with. Listen, that's number one. It also determines what treaty is signed. A national interest determines what treaties you must sign as a state. Not every document a state must sign. Listen, so not every agreement a state must sign. So your national interest will determine which agreement you must sign. Understand? Number 3, a national interest determines how a country responds to global events. Understand? So during our class, someone mentioned that Nigeria is non-alignment country. Am I right? Hello? Am I the only one here?
No, we are with you.
Yeah,
We are with you. We can hear you.
So we all agree that Nigeria is a non-alignment country. Like it doesn't align with any bloc. Do you agree?
Yes.
Why? Why do we agree? Why do we agree? Can anyone explain that?
Most international issues, Nigeria don't align. They're always neutral.
Thank you very much. Nigeria doesn't put its mouth in fight that is happening in international affairs. They only stay at the middle. You understand? So that is our own national interest. We don't want to side one party and leave one party because we believe that all parties can be partners. Understand? So the national interest will determine how a country responds to global events. You get? Sometimes you see Nigeria in what is happening, and if you go to Nigeria Foreign Ministry Facebook page. I follow them. So what is happening in Palestine? You will see them. They write a memo because their national interest also say talks about it also. So another one, the fourth one is the national interest determine the roles of a state in international organization. Yes, sir? It determines the role of a state in international organization. So if you are in ECOWAS, you know what you want to play. You know your role there. If you are in World Trade Organization, you know your role there because they don't play the same role. Understand? So the last one is it determines foreign policy direction of a country. Which policy a country wants to make that affect also, that have impact in international affairs. So your national interest, we say, you will not just go and sit down in the ECOWAS chamber, house, and be saying anything without following the interest of your country. So the direction you will take, any decision you say, anything you mention there, how to go in the direction of your country. So you not say something that will against your country, you would go there to support your country. Listen, let me just give a contemporary example now. Contemporary example. You know, Nigeria as a country. I say, you know, yes. Yeah. Nigeria as a country, we are interested in regional stability. That is Nigeria. That's one of the Nigerian, interests. We are interested in regional stability. Listen, so when there is war in any part of Africa, or let me just say any part of country linked to Nigeria, when there is war there, the first thing Nigeria will do is send someone there. Either through ECOWAS, they send someone there to go and negotiate or to go and mediate. You understand? So because we believe that, Nigeria believe that if there is war, if there is instability in West Africa as a whole, it will indirectly affect Nigeria as a country. Understand? Because it can put, you see what is happening in Burkina Faso. A lot of people on Facebook are asking that the soldiers should take power from the civilians because they believe that what is happening in Burkina Faso also can happen in Nigeria. So Nigeria as a country find solution that let's send people there. Let's talk with these people. Let them give power to civilians. You understand? So the national interest, that's our own national interest. China, for instance, now China national interest is they are interested in market expansion and having more resources. Listen, China is interested in market expansion. That is why you see that most of our railways in Nigeria are made by Chinese. In return, Nigerians give them shares of the profit we get, the Nigerian get from it. You understand? So they want. It's not only in China. It's not only in Nigeria. They make railways. They make railway in some part of Africa.
Africa.
They want to expand. They want to. Say China did not colonize any country in Africa, but instead of that one, they want to have influence in Africa. They want to have influence in most part of the world. In Nigeria today, in major states, you will see that there is Chinese schools. They call it Confucius. In Ivory Coast, when I was in Ivory Coast, they have it in Ivory Coast, Confucius. If you type it on Google, maybe you are not aware, but just type it Confucius, Chinese schools in Nigeria. You will see them plenty, and people are going there. I know where it is in Lagos, but they are in many parts of this in Africa. They want to make impact. Understand? They want expansion and they want resources. Understand? The United Nations, the USA. The USA national interest they are interested in global security. That is why you see them when there is war in Iraq, when there is war in Palestine, Iran, Nigeria, they want to put them out there. They are interested in global security. You get? So all countries have interest in global policy. Even Russia. Russia is interested in maintaining, like, they want to maintain their influence in their area. Not only in Russia, they want to maintain influence in the sphere. Say Russia was part of how do you call this organization? How do you call this organization? Soviet Union. Russia was part of Soviet Union. So
USSR.
Yes, thank you very much. USSR. So Russia, since there's no more USSR, all the countries are on their own now. So Russia wants to maintain influence in Belarus, in Georgia, in Ukraine. Because if Russia doesn't have influence in these three or in this USSR country, other nations, they will not be afraid of Russia. That is what today Russia don't want to leave Ukraine. So they want to maintain influence. So Each country have their own national interest. Listen, you have your own national interest because that national interest will be guiding you of what you need to do in kind of problem. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Okay. So the next thing I want to discuss is power, but we've talked about power in module 1. But what I want to say is power and capability of state actor or actors. Power and capability of actors. Understand? I'll just put this one into 3. Power and capability of actors, either state actor or non-state actor. So power and capability of actors. Let me just put it. Let me just say state actors. When I say actors, I mean state actors, not actors. Now, military power. Understand? When we talk about military power, which countries fall under one? Under one. Just name 3 countries that fall under military power. That a state actor, you know that they have it.
Just very close, our neighbor.
What?
I say our neighbors.
Which of our neighbor?
Are not too far.
Yeah, Cameroon.
Who's their name now?
Cameroon not in public.
No, Cameroon, if you want to cut off Cameroon, they are not practicing democracy.
Cameroon don't have the power now. They don't have military power.
I think Cameroon don't practice democracy. We're talking about what's it called? Burkina Faso, Mali, and what's it called? Guinea.
Think that they have military power that can influence international decision.
Oh,
US.
Sorry. Okay.
I'm talking about military power and influence international decision.
Military power. Talk about US.
Yes.
The US.
Soviet Union.
What? Soviet Union? We don't have the Soviet Union at the moment.
Russia.
Russia.
Yeah. When you say Soviet Union, I'm talking about Russia because that is a superpower.
Yeah.
Germany.
Do Germany make much influence? Do they shake international decision like that?
They don't really do that, but I feel they have a strong military base as well.
Okay. So now the USA on their own, they control North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO.
Yeah.
Why Russia have nuclear capability? That is what countries are afraid of Putin. Yesterday, Russia make Putin, the president of Putin on my status. So he made a decision. He said, if the European Union are ready for war, if United Union wants war, he's ready for war. So they are afraid of him. He's just a country, but they are afraid of him. So he has nuclear capability. Where China on their own, they have the largest army.
Yeah.
China is very populous. So, and most people are into army. Even some of them that are working in the market, some of them have military training. So now we have economic power. Economic power, we all know USA and China, they are dominating the world. They are part of the largest economic power. Yeah. And the European Union dominates all the 27th, European. Even they give money to people even outside the European Union, borrow money. While in Nigeria, we have Africa's largest market. Nigeria has Africa's largest market. If any big company wants to come to Africa, they see Nigeria as the biggest market they can make impact. Okay. Now on the soft power, we have the soft power. All these things we've mentioned in module 1. I'm just trying to brush it. Soft power, we have Nigeria have this Afrobeat and his Nollywood. America, USA have this Hollywood. You understand? China, they have Confucius. Understand? I've mentioned Confucius Institute. Confucius Institute of China is to help people speak Chinese language. Understand? Yes. So if they are in all countries in Africa now, if you check in Africa, they are there. In Nigeria, I'm pretty sure they are in all countries in Africa because they want to make influence. Understand? Confucius Institute. So you can check them. They are in some of the university also. So when they don't see place in the city, they try to partner with the university to have space in the university. Then, so any question for me before I proceed, please? Any question for me before I proceed? Can I proceed?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Before I proceed, I just want to actors in international politics. Listen, actors in international politics. Although we've mentioned them, but I just want to list it again. Actors. This time, this time I'm not saying about regional or global. I just want actors in international politics. And so, number one, actors in international politics is multinational corporation. Multinational corporation. They also have influence in international affairs. That's number one. Number two, international NGOs. International NGOs. Listen, they only function in most parts of the world. They also have impact.
International.
Number three, terrorist and extremist groups. Terrorist and extremist groups. Some of them, they've passed through borders. They are no more see, some of the terrorists in Middle East, they don't pass through Middle East. Some of them in Africa, they are in Africa. So the funniest part of all this thing is that they under the terrorists and extremists, we all classify them as Boko Haram, but to be sincere, it's not in Boko Haram. To be sincere, it's only Boko Haram. We just put everything on the head of Boko Haram. To be sincere, some of them are not even Boko Haram. They have a different name. But they also have influence in international affairs. Understand? Number four is international organizations. All the international organizations understand? IGO, international organization. We mentioned international non-governmental organization. Now we mention international organizations. Understand? Number five, we have private military companies. Private military companies. Understand? Like the Wagners in Russia. They are private military companies. The Wagners in Russia, the private military company. Now, we have the diaspora group. And now, there is one common one in Nigeria. How do you call that? Abike Dabiri is managing. What's the name of that thing, sir? That organization. What's the name of the organization Abike Dabiri is?
NIDCOM.
Thank you very much.
Nigerians in Diaspora Commission.
So they are part of the actors in international politics because they tend to take the interest of we that are in abroad. You understand? So now another one is religion movement or advocate network. Like the Muslim Association, the MSSN. There are plenty in Nigeria in all states. We have MSSN branch in all states. We have the Christian Association of Nigeria in all states. Again, so they're also part of it. So anything affecting this religion belief, they tend to come in. Listen. So for instance, now what is happening in some part of Nigeria can also pronounce itself there. You get? So they can also make the decision they make or the pronouncement they make also influence international decisions. We have the global media and technology company. BBC or CNN or Al Jazeera, these are global media. They also make this, or France 24 for people that speak French. So these media I mentioned, when you go to Al Jazeera today, you will see what is happening in Middle East. Most things that's happening in Middle East, they capture everything that is happening there. Listen, they have people there that are capturing it. When you go to France 24, everything that is happening in France and all the French colony in Africa you can see it in France 24. BBC, anything that's happening in Britain here. So we have non-governmental individuals also as actors. Non-governmental individuals. We have non-governmental organization and international organization, and we have non-governmental individuals. Understand? So there are some individuals that are powerful. Understand? Like we have the Mother Teresa case. We have this Nelson Mandela. Although some people will say Nelson Mandela was a politician, but at the time he was not a politician again, so he became a non-governmental individual. So they are powerful also. So they also influence international decisions. So I mentioned how many? How many did I mention? How many? 9. Okay.
9.
Okay. Thank you very much. So just in there, I know we've talked about it. Now we proceed to World War I and World War II. World War I and World War II. And whichever we'll first take World War I. World War I was between 1914 and 1918. 4 years war. Just for 4 years before this war. 1914 to 1918. So another name for World War I is known as the Great War. The Great War. Listen. Can anyone give me a brief about what caused the war? Can anyone give me a brief of what was the causes of the war? Can anyone tell me what was the causes of World War I? Why did they fight for 4 years? Hmm?
Hmm?
Can anyone tell me the causes of World War I? Why did they fight for good 4 years? No one. No one. Can I proceed if there is no one? Okay, number one reason is imperialism. I will mention 4 reasons, but we have many reasons. Yeah, but I'll mention 4 reasons. Number one reason is imperialism. What do you understand by imperialism? Can anyone tell me imperialism? Imperialism. So imperialism is like colonization, ruling over a country. So most European countries, they were competing. Understand? They were competing to rule over African and Asia. That's one of the reasons. Like the most powerful will rule. Understand? So that is why we have the Berlin Conference. I don't know whether you've heard of the Berlin Conference. The Berlin Conference is where they sat down, they divided Africa, that this is going to be your own territory. This is going to be your own territory. This is going to be your own territory. I don't remember the date. I think it should be 1914. I don't remember the date again, but we have the Berlin Conference is the conference whereby they decided how the partition of Africa is going to be. We were sitting down in Africa and somebody else in their own country, they are trying to divide us. They are trying to divide their own territory. So imperialism was the number one reason, competing of how who will manage the area. Then number two is let me just move this person. Number two is militarism. Number two is militarism. Militarism. So nations were building armies and stockpiling weapons. Understand? All the big powers, they were building armies secretly. They were stockpiling. They were just keeping weapons. Understand? So they were just keeping weapons for their own personal purpose. So in case there is war, they will use the weapons to face the war. So, but there was a time where Germany and Britain, they competed on the how do you call naval how do you call that? It was the naval competition. And when you see Germany, how do you call naval equipment, and you see Britain equipment, it makes them realize that when did they all gather all this equipment? So they were just stockpiling all this equipment, all these weapons, all these big weapons, understand, ammunitions. So that's one of the reasons. So another reason is alliances. There was alliance. Understand? There was alliance. The world was divided into two. Understand? The world was divided into two. One part we call them the triple entente, or the one part we call them the triple entente, while the other one we call them the triple alliance, which is Britain, France, and Russia. They were together. Britain, France, Russia, they form alliance. Okay? Germany, Italy, and Austria and Hungary, they form another country. They form alliance. So the alliance means that there was no international organization that time. There was no big international organization. There was just alliance. So, which means if you touch any member in my alliance, other people will attack you. So there were alliance. That was one of the causes. Another cause is nationalism. Nationalism. So some ethnic groups wanted to separate from Russia. Some of them wanted to separate from Russia. They want freedom. You understand now? So aside from that one, I'm sorry. I'm trying to recollect some things. Let me just put it that if I recall it, I'll just mention it later. So I mentioned 14. I don't know whether you recall. I mentioned militarism. I mentioned alliances of countries and imperialism and nationalism. So nationalism even reached the stage of Africa, whereby countries wanted, how do you call, freedoms. You can recollect the amalgamation of Nigeria was done in 1914 by Lord Lugard. So that was that period where the World War wanted to comes in. So now, when they fought the World War, understand? So at the end of World War, let's say they fought it 1914 to 1918. So they fought the war. The World War ended because Germany, as a country, Germany surrendered everything because Germany was losing. So they surrendered everything. When Germany surrendered everything, how do I say this thing? The impact. What are the impacts of the World War One? The impact of World War One. I said the number one impact of World War One is the collapse of empires, like the Ottoman Empire, the Russian Empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So in one of our course, Middle East 805, we mentioned that the Ottoman Empire was existing before the creation of Israel. You understand? So the World War One was the one that collapsed the Ottoman Empire, the Russian Empire, and the Hungarian Empire. That's number one impact of the World War One. The second impact of the World War One is creation of new states in Europe. New countries were created in Europe. Understand? That was after the World War One. Poland was created. Poland was created, and some other countries were created. Number three impact of the World War One is formation of the League of Nations. Formation of the Leagues of Nations. The League of Nations' primary motive is to stop another war, which is World War II. But because the League of Nations failed to stop World War II, they cancel the League of Nations and they bring in the United Nations Organization. Because the League of Nations failed, that's why the United Nations Organization was brought up. Understand? Number four impact of World War One, the rise of dictatorship in Germany and Italy. In Germany, who was the dictator in Germany? Can anyone tell me? Who was the dictator in Germany?
Adolf Hitler.
Adolf Hitler.
What about in Italy?
Forgotten.
In Italy, it was Benito Mussolini. Benito Mussolini. You'll be seeing in Italy history, you will say Mussolini, B. Mussolini, Benito Mussolini. So they were dictators. So after the World War One, these people get more influence that we must fight again. We must fight this part of the World War II. So you see, I told you that Germany surrendered. But as Germany surrendered, they made up a treaty in Versailles. Understand? There was a treaty they called the Treaty of Versailles in 1999. In 1919. The Treaty of Versailles. In the Treaty of Versailles, Versailles is V-E-R-S-A-I. It's in French language. The French. So V-E-R-S-A-I-L-L-E-S. Treaty of Versailles of 1919. So, in the Treaty of Versailles, they make some laws. Understand them? They said Germany was blamed for the cause of World War. They put all the blame on Germany in that treaty. Understand? And they now forced Germany for reparation. That was the second thing. They forced Germany to repair everything that was destroyed during the World War I. That's the second thing. And loss of colonies. Germany lost its colonies. That is all its territory outside Germany. And so, Nigeria is a colony of Britain. France, Côte d'Ivoire is colony of France. Understand? So Germany lost all its territory outside Germany. You get? So there was military restriction was imposed on Germany. So this harsh decision they make in the Versailles Treaty of 1919 give birth to, how do you call, the World War II. Understand? It gave birth to the World War because Germany was seeing that all this treaty that you are making now, it is ash on them. Understand? So it was part of the reason that caused the World War II. Any question before we proceed, please? I'm tasty. I'm sorry. Any question? Can I proceed? Can I proceed?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Now, World War II. World War II, I think is already 8:39 in Nigeria, please. So I think we will finish not in some minute now. We are not staying longer. World War II. The World War II was between 1939 and 1945. You know, the first one is 1914 to 1918. The second one is between 1939 and 1945. Hassan? So it is known as the most destructive war in the whole world. In history. The most destructive war in history because a lot of people buy, a lot of people go. So, you know, in World War I, we said another state was created, Poland, understand? And Czech Republic was created during World War I. So, in World War II, one first reason, one immediate reason, let me just put it, immediate cause of for World War I is that Germany invaded Poland. Understand? Germany invaded Poland. You know, Poland is a new country. So they were created after World War I. So Germany invaded Poland in September 1, 1939. Understand? So this made France and Britain to declare war on Germany. That's the first immediate reason. You have many reasons, but the immediate reason is that because Germany invaded Poland September 1, 1939, that made the British and the French to invade, to declare war against them. You understand? But deeply, we have another reason, which is the Treaty of Versailles. You know, in the Treaty of Versailles, I mentioned that they made some laws against Germany, that Germany think that these laws are very harsh on them. So the punishment they give to Germany gave birth to the World War II. Understand? So because the policy was enough, so it gave birth to World War II. While another cause of the World War II is the rise of dictatorship. We have Nazism. Treaty, I said someone is at Sunday, Joseph is asking treaty of what? So the treaty is called Treaty of Versailles. Versailles is I'm pronouncing it in French, so I don't know how you pronounce it in English. So the VERSAILLES. You know, LES. VERSAILLES. Treaty of Versailles. So that was the treaty that was in 1919 where they make some harsh law against Germany. So, but because Germany sees it as it was too harsh on them, so that gave birth to the World War II also. So another reason is the rise of dictatorship. Understand? Well, there was Nazism by Adolf Hitler in Germany. There was fascism by Benito Mussolini in Italy. Understand? And when the dictators increase, they believe that they have more power, so they invaded some countries, and it's part of the reason. So, Germany on their own hand, they go for revenge. Understand now? Understand? They go for revenge. So I think because they surrender in World War I, so World War II they must not surrender. Understand? So because all the laws they were making against them was too much, so they wanted to retaliate. Now another reason for the World War II is the failure of the League of Nations. Failure of the League of Nations. You know, they created League of Nations in World War I to prevent World War II, but the League of Nations failed because the reason why the League of Nations failed is that the League of Nations was not having a central army. no enforcement power was given to the League of Nations. They just created the League of Nations with no central army, no enforcement power. So let's say that was currently ECOWAS have a central army. What is the central army of ECOWAS? Can anyone tell me? What is the central army of ECOWAS?
ECOMOG.
ECOMOG. Thank you very much. ECOMOG. Understand that? So all these big organizations, they have central power, central army or enforcement power. But then the League of Nations was not having any. Understand that? So it make the League of Nations could not prevent some things. Understand that? In 1935, Italy invaded Ethiopia, and the League of Nations did not find solution to it. Understand? Japan also invaded Manchuria. It's part of the state in how do you call, in East Asia in 1931. League of Nations did not talk. So there was more problem that was coming, and the League of Nations was not finding solution. Understand? So when it happened like that, some nations believed that they were too big enough. Understand? So another reason is economic crisis. Listen, there was global depression. Poverty was there. There was global poverty. It affected all the country. So then it was like the survival of the fittest. Those that can survive, the most powerful will survive, while the weak one will not survive. Understand now? So these are part of the reason of the World War II. But in World War II, when they fought the World War II, there was alliances also. Understand? I mentioned the alliances in World War I, but in World War II, there was alliances. You know, in World War I, we have Britain, France, and Russia. They were together. The other one also, Italy, Germany, and Austria and Hungary. They were together. Understand? In World War II, there was alliances. Understand? Because when you say World War, it's not that Nigeria will be fighting Togo will be fighting Benin will be fighting. No, you have to form a bloc. You have to form alliance. Understand? So we have the Allied power. In the Allied power, we have USA, we have Britain, China, France, and USSR. 5 countries. They were the Allied powers. That was the first alliance. While the second alliance is the Axis powers. We have the Germany, Italy, and Japan. They are 3 countries all in. You understand? So these 3 countries versus 5 countries. Understand? So it is in history that that France took some people from Africa to come and fight the war. They took some people from Cote d'Ivoire and some other place in Africa to come and fight the war. You get? So that's why in France we have there is history of Africans there that fought the war. Understand? So even America, so you just have to take some people everywhere to come and join you in the war. Now, what are the major events that occur in the World War II? Can anyone tell me just a brief event that occurred there? Have you heard of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Have you heard of that one before? Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the bomb of Hiroshima. Can anyone explain that one to us?
Yes, huh? What is it?
Can anyone explain the bomb of Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
Yes, America flew to that country and dropped atomic bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
So imagine that America come and drop bomb. That bomb they drop wiped off the country. The bomb they drop wiped off the country at instant. Even those people that did not die directly, they were not living. Let me just say they were half dead and half living.
They were deformed.
They were deformed. That is why you will see it that some people they gave birth to them. The water was polluted, the water, the food, everything was concerned. So it affected all the countries, the Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So some people were giving birth to, you will see that they don't have hand. Some people, their hand is coming from their stomach. So they were deformed. Understand? That was one of the reasons why they stopped people to be using nuclear weapons, because nuclear weapons, when they drop it, there is no reparation again. They cannot repair the casualties. Understand? That was one of the events that occurred in the World War II. Understand? So another event is the Holocaust. Understand? Can anyone talk about the Holocaust?
Yes.
Okay, I'm with you.
Massive genocide of Jews.
Thank you very much. Massive genocide of Jews. 6 million Jews were killed. 6 million Jews were killed. You see, you can even link the Holocaust to the creation of the state of Israel. Yes, we all know when Israel was created, right? And we know when World War II occurred. When was Israel created? From our last class in 805. Anybody?
1946. Is it 48?
Oh, 19? Is it 46 or 48?
48.
Thank you.
48.
So 1948, but the World War II was between what? 1939 to 1945. So there was massive killing of the Jews during the World War II. So it's part of the reason why Zionism, the movement of Zionism occurs also. You understand? It's part of the movement. Why the movement of Zionism is that all the Jews that are in Europe, all of them should come back to their promised land, which is the current Palestine. You get? So that's one of the events that occur in World War II. Another event is the Japan attack of Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor is just a land of the where the U.S. Army take control of, but Japan attacked that land, and it makes the USA to join the war. So that's another one, and between another event that occurred is between 1939 and 1942, Germany conquered most part of Europe. So most part of Europe was under Adolf Hitler, was under Germany. Understand now? So that's another one. But what happened is at the end is in May 1945, Germany surrendered again. You know they surrendered in First World War. In World War II, they surrendered again in May 1945, and Japan, on their own part, they also surrender in August 1945. You know when the how do you call the other Axis power they surrender? That means that there is no more war. If they surrender, there is no more war. So, what are the impact of the World War II? The number one impact. Can anyone tell you number one impact that is very visible at the moment? I've mentioned it when I was talking. The number one impact is the creation of the United Nations organization. So the creation of the United Nations organization, because the League of Nations that they create in World War I did not stop the World War II. They have to cancel League of Nations and create the United Nations organization. And the mission of the United Nations organization is to stop World War III. Is to stop World War III. So since 1945 to date, there is no World War III. Even if there is a silent war, it's not that big as we can classify it as a World War III. So the another impact of the World War II is decolonization. Many African countries got their independence between that period, between that 1950s to 1970s. Many Africans were free, got their independence. That they were free by that period. Another impact of the World War II is the new global power was created. USA and the USSR became superpower. That they were the global power. So another reason is creation of modern international organization. All these modern international organizations, they were created after the World War II. So like the World International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, the NATO, and the others. So the human rights organization, human rights movement was created. There is one. Declaration of Human Rights of 1948. So all nation of the world have that one in their constitution. They follow that one. Declaration of Human Rights of 1948. So Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948. So that was after the World War II that this one was put, that all nations must recognize the rights of people living on the hard surface. So and many other reasons many impact of work. We had many impact of World War II. Also, you can check it from the internet. You see many impact of World War II. Listen. So, any question for me? Any questions so far from what we've been doing? Any questions?
Hello, Mr. Akanji.
Yeah, hi, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for what you are doing.
You're welcome.
I'm really proud of you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
But I have a very big problem.
We are
among the five courses.
Yeah.
Is that 801? I can't lie to you, I'm confused.
Research methodology.
Yes, I don't know where to start from. I've never done anything like arts. I have not done anything like politics in my life. Throughout my line of studies was sciences.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a research methodology. I find it very difficult. That is the only area I don't know. If I'm to chat you up, let us have one-on-one a lecture. I don't know.
Okay. It depends on. Let me just take it from where you stop. We can have one-on-one session, but it's going to. I'm a bit talkative. You understand that? So as I'm talking, I know some people are tired. So if you just give me a date and I'll see if I'm available, we can start. We can do like 4 to 5 hours talk. We'll do
no problem.
We do 2 hours. We just drink water. We just eat and we continue again from where we stop.
No problem. No problem. I'll chat you personally.
But I don't know if you've watched the Module 1 and Module 2. We've done the video, done the revision of Module 1 and Module 2, which I've posted in the group. I don't know whether you've watched it also. So if you've not watched it, I would say you should watch it. The problem, most of us, let me just say most of you, let me just like that. The point most of us have is some of us don't have the background in politics. So me, it's easier for me because I have my background in public administration and politics, political science. So that's why it's easier for me. But some people, like your own is science. So why some people is banking and finance. Some people is survey. Understand? Some people is engineering. So it's difficult. I understand that it might be difficult. But at the same time, if you've watched the video of Module 1 and Module 2, the revision we did, and you don't still understand, I can create time where we can just talk one-on-one on that one, so that before the exam, at least you are prepared before the exam. You get? So that one we'll talk about it. You can message me later. So any other question, observation? Question, observation? It's already to 9 in Nigeria, so we are going to stop here. But before we stop, I advise you to go and read about the Cold War. That is the last part of Module 2. That's the last part of Module 2, the Cold War. Just take that one as an assignment. You get? So just force yourself, give interest to it. The Cold War. Do your research on it, read about it. That's what I did not touch now because it's already 9 p.m. So people have to go to work tomorrow. Okay. Question, observation, suggestion. I think Ademola or Mayeni want to talk, but our mic is off. Any question, any observation, any suggestion?